Management for Life
with Gajendra.
The topic we are going to discuss is career development. This is a very important topic because a lot of people don't really understand what their career is. In the first place, do you have a career at the moment? Because sometimes we see people work in one company forever and probably retire. They might be getting a medal for 25 years service, but the question has to be asked, did you ever had a career? So what do you mean by a career? Basically is a clear path for an individual to operate in an organization. Do you have a clear path? If not, can you create a path? What exactly are you going to do in this organization? First thing in career development is to understand your position within the organization. You can clearly define your position. First decide what is your job. What is my job? What am I doing in this organization? Then, what is the position? Position can be identified based on the organizational structure. You can clearly see where you are in the structure. Are you in the middle or are you at the bottom? When are you going to go up? Now you need to clearly define that position, because without identifying the position, you will never have a career. Career means how far you can go. Now, sometimes organizations operate with a very rigid structure. That means your growth is basically restricted. That means sometimes I have seen organizations have very high levels of structures, so that the hierarchy is so high an individual can never go up. So you need to clearly decide what your position is. What is the current position and what's the next level? Sometimes I have seen people stuck in one position for 3 years, sometimes 5. I have seen people who are stuck for 10 years. Now that leads to frustration because there's no scope. You might be a highly qualified person. I mean, your CV might look very impressive or excellent, but if you're not in the correct position, you cannot go up. So fundamentally, career development looks at how far you can reach. I would like everybody to have a higher target and sometimes, someday become the top of the organization. But you can't do that only with qualification. You cannot do that only with your ability. You cannot do that because you are better than the others or you're talented. You need to know your position and what career you have. It is very important to be the correct person at the right time. Right person at the right time. Otherwise, you will never ever have a career. Remember that. Correct person at the correct time. That is the beginning of career development.
Management for Life
with Gajendra.
Let's see how you're going to progress in your career. First thing is identifying the position. Once you identify the position, you will realize your path. Sometimes you would see in modern organizations with a very high structure, you'll have no growth. I have to tell you, sometimes there may be no growth whatsoever. Higher the hierarchy, lesser will be the growth. So you need to really understand then how to go up in the career. How to go up in the career. You need to check with that. For example, if you're 35, your boss is 40, and if you have a very rigid structure, you will never go up. You will never go up because he will go on and on and on unless his boss, there is an opening for him to go up. Otherwise, you'll never go up. You'll be frustrated to stay there until your boss, who is 40, goes to 55. By the time you're 50, you get the promotion, not because of anything, because that man has retired. But by the time you reach that level, organization might think, we need new thinking. You'll never be promoted then. So that is very, very important to understand how you're going to build a career. So check with your organization where you are and what's your next step. If your next step is not there, you have to take action. I repeat this. You might be highly qualified, you might be highly talented. Don't get carried away. That doesn't guarantee any career. Qualification, performance and position, basically what you have done in the past has nothing to do with your career. Career means how far you can go from here to the top. If you can't go, you can't go. So you need to take a decision then. Check with your organization when you go to work tomorrow. Check with your organization and see what's your position and how to go to the top. If you don't have an option, you have to take a decision. Unless you're promoted within 3 years, you'll never be promoted. You have to create your own destiny in management. I repeat, you have to create your own destiny. You can't wait for any circumstance, because with the structure, you'll never go up. So what's the strategy then? What can you do? Very simple. You need to look at alternative options. If you're stuck in one place, that means you can't go up, or there's no opening at the top. I mean, if you're stuck with a place like finance sometimes, I mean, head of finance is there, other people are there, you're there. You'll never go up. Unless somebody at the top make a very high mistake, which is ridiculous, which might not happen at all. Take any other field as well. If it is narrow, normally it's narrow at the top, you'll never go up. Especially if there are relatively young people at the top. You have to take the decision. What's the decision? You need to look at whether you have alternative route within the organization, maybe in another department, whether you could see an opening in another department. If there's no opening in another department, time has come for you to make a move. How do you make a move? Very interesting. How are you going to make a move? That means you need to join another organization which has a career path. Even at a lesser salary, I strongly recommend you to join an organization which has a career path. What matters in your salary is how much you're going to get at the end, not how much you're going to get at the beginning. Now that's very, very important. You might be very happy with your salary now, but if your position is not going to take you forward, you'll be stuck with that forever. So you're better off leaving the organization even at a lower rate, so that you can go up in the career in the long term. So that is the first advice in career development. Identify the position, see the future. If there's no future, make a move, make a solid move. People might criticize you. You don't need to worry about that. You have only one name. You're going to be the top someday, and this is just the beginning of the career. And that is the first advice.
Management for Life
with Gajendra.
Let's see how to practically apply this concept. I told you earlier, if there's no growth, leave the organization even at a lesser rate. Don't ever think about salary. Don't ever think about salary. I repeat, don't think about salary now. You need to decide how much you're going to get at the end. Because if you think about salary now, you'll be stagnated, you'll never grow. You need to look at a clear path. A clear path. I will strongly recommend you, when you go to work, to look at the CEO. Just benchmark. See how they have reached. You will realize the CEOs have not come through the normal growth system. They have basically come from outside. It is the commitment and the focus of a CEO to look at the long-term view. That is why they are at the top. There are a lot of talented people in Sri Lanka who never go up because they have no idea about the career. If you have an idea about the career, you will leave at the correct time and join the correct organization at the right time. Because remember, you have to basically look after yourself. If you stay in one place, you get used to the system, you get used to all the people and the structure, and they'll never promote you anyway because you can't manage your friends. Because if you stay in one place, everybody knows you. So they'll never put you up because you can't manage your friends. You can't direct them, you can't sack them, and you can't tell them what to do because you were there. So always remember, know your next move. It's like a game of chess. Don't think about a sacrifice now. Don't think about it now. Have a long-term view. Make sure you identify your career path. And if you don't have it with this organization, don't be afraid. Make the move. And I want you to look at the seat of the CEO. Someday you're going to be there. And you have to clearly look at that aim and then decide. It's just a matter of time when you're going to get there. if you focus on a career.